And in this lecture we will learn about the first group elements, and first group elements are also called the alkali metals. And this group comprising of the hydrogen, lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium and francium. All these are called the alkali metals except the hydrogen, because hydrogen is a non-metal. It is not considered as the metal. It is a non-metal, and from lithium up to the francium, the elements are called the alkali metals. Now the first property is the atomic radius, and atomic radius is the distance from the nucleus of an atom up to the valence shell. This distance is called the atomic radius of an atom. As we can see here, that when we move from hydrogen towards the francium and down the group, what happens? An extra shell of electron is added to each element. As hydrogen has only one shell, now this lithium will have the two shells, sodium has the three shells. So number of shell increases as we move down the group, and due to this the size of the atom also increases down the group. And as the number of shell increases, number of electron increases, so the shielding effect also increases down the group. Shielding effect is the reduction in force of attraction between the nucleus and the valence electron, and this reduction is due to the presence of the inner subshells, as the other subshells are also exist there. So these subshells have the electrons, and due to the presence of these inner subshell electrons, the force of attraction between the nucleus and the valence electron decreases. And we find that there is an increase of atomic and ionic radius as we move from lithium to the cesium. Here you can see that the property is given. Radius of the atom increases, and as well as when they are in the ionic state, their radius is also increasing down the group. Here a graphical presentation is given, and you can see that atomic radius is increasing from lithium towards the cesium. As the size of the atom is increasing, extra number of shells are increasing in each element when we move from lithium towards the cesium down a group. Second property is the ionization energy. First, ionization energy. Ionization energy is the amount of the energy required to remove 1 mole of the most loosely held electron from 1 mole of isolated gaseous atom to produce 1 mole of unipositive gaseous sign. So when it is simply, we can say that energy required to remove the most loosely held electron. What are these most loosely held electrons? These are the valence electron. And when valence electron is removed from the atom, energy is required to remove this electron, and this energy is called the ionization energy. You can see that when we move from lithium towards the francium, number of shells are increasing. As we go down the group, alkali metals have only one electron in their valence shell. Lithium has one electron, sodium has one electron in the valence shell. In the same way, potassium, rubidium, cesium, all these alkali metals have only one electron in their valence shell, and this electron is obviously weakly held with the nucleus. Force of attraction between the nucleus and valence electron decreases because the size of the atom is increasing down the group. So electron can easily be removed from this valence shell. So ionization energy value decreases as we move down the group because the size of the atom is increasing and shielding effect is also increasing. As the distance of this ns1 electron from the nucleus increases, So as we move from lithium to cesium, this removal become more and more easy. And why this removal become more and more easy? Because size of atom is increasing. The pull of the nucleus at the valence electron decreases due to the increase in the size. So the removal of this one electron that is present in the valence shell, it become easy. Here you can see the ionization energy from lithium to the cesium are given, and these ionization energy value are decreasing down the group. Now when we want to remove the second electron from the shell, what happen? As in case of the alkali metals, there is only one electron in the valence shell. So when one electron is removed from the valence shell, that valence shell will be ended, and the second ionization energy means to remove energy required to remove the second electron from the outermost shell. Now what happened, this value will be fairly high, and it will become difficult to remove the second electron from these alkali metals. And this is due to the when M positive ion is formed. When M positive ion is formed means one electron you have already removed from this valence shell, and this atom now exists in the positive ions. So when M positive ion is formed, now we want to remove the second electron from this M positive ion. Definitely there will be more force of attraction between the nucleus and the electrons. Pull of the nucleus will increase on the electron because the size of the positive ion is smaller than that of the neutral atom. So when this size of the M positive is smaller than that neutral atom, due to this reason it will become difficult to remove the second electron from the outermost shell of the this cation. So this ionization value will increase. First ionization value will be less because it easily valence electron can be removed from the valence shell. Force of attraction between the nucleus and this valence electron will be less. But when once the electron has been removed and you want to remove the second electron from the cation, here the force of attraction between the nucleus and this cation electron will be greater, and due to this increased force of attraction, ionization energy value will also increase. So second ionization energy is high as compared to the first ionization energy. Here the first ionization energy values are given. You can see that this value is decreasing down the group. Lithium has the maximum ionization energy and cesium has the minimum in them. So this ionization, first ionization values decreases down the group because the attraction between the nucleus and valence electron is less. Electronegativity in case of the alkali metals have the strong tendency to lose their ns1 electron. We can say that alkali metals are the electropositive. Electropositive means they have the ability to lose their valence electrons. So being the electropositive, they are have very low electronegativities. Their electronegatives, you can say, is very small amount. So we can say that alkali metals are the least electronegative, and their electronegativity values decreases down the group because electropositive character increases down the group. And when this electropositive character increases down the group, this electronegativity values will quite low. Here the trend is given graphically. Presentation of this trend is given. You can see the electronegativity values are decreasing down the group, and this is due to the increase in the size of the atom. Now the melting and boiling points, both the melting and boiling points will decrease as we go down the group, and this decrease is due to the presence of the weak metallic bonds, and as there are very few, no, only one free electron is available in the alkali metals, so they have the quite low melting and boiling point. Here you can see the melting and boiling points, they are decreasing down the group due to the number of their free electrons are quite less. You can see here the melting and boiling points are given. In blue color these are the boiling points, and in the red they are the melting points, and they are gradually decreasing down the group. Now the densities of the alkali metals are quite low due to the large atomic volumes. When we move from lithium towards the cesium, we can see here the lithium, sodium and potassium, they are lighter than the water, and this density value increasing as the size of the atom is increasing from lithium to the cesium. But you can see here some anomalous behavior of this potassium, as the normal trend is that densities are increasing as we are moving down the group, but in case of the potassium, density of this potassium is less than that of the sodium. Now what is the reason for this? We know that density is equal to the mass over volume. Greater the mass of the atom, greater will be the density, and greater is the volume of the atom, less will be the density, and density and volume have the inverse proportion in them. So when we move from sodium towards the potassium, here the d orbitals are operating. Sodium do not have any d orbitals, but in case of the potassium, d orbital exists there, d electrons exist there, and due to the presence of these d orbitals, the volume of this potassium is much more than that of the sodium, but the mass of the potassium and sodium is not as high, as the volume difference increases here. Due to the presence of these d orbitals, the volume of this potassium increases much more as compared to the sodium, and due to this reason this potassium has less density than that of the sodium. And in the next again this behavior is the same, as it is increasing down the group due to the higher as the mass of this increasing. Now in the last about the reactivity of the water, the reaction of the alkali metal with water is highly exothermic. Large amount of energy is released when these metals react with the water. Simply a piece of the lithium, sodium and the potassium, they float over the water because they are lighter than the water, as I have already told you. So they react vigorously and liberate the metal hydroxides. You can see when they react with the water, they liberate the hydroxides, they produce the hydroxides, and large amount of hydrogen is released here, and reaction is exothermic, and the energy which is produced can burn the hydrogen gas, and it is for this reason that alkali metals are always stored in the kerosene or the paraffin oil. And this reactivity of the alkali metals with the water become more and more vigorous as we go down the group. So potassium, rubidium and cesium are also reactive with water, that they react with the even with they react with the ice at minus 100 degrees centigrade. So you can see that they are quite reactive with water, and that is the reason, due to this high reactivity with the water, they they are always kept in the they are stored in the kerosene or the paraffin oil. Hopefully you have learned the basic properties of these first group elements, and now the message of the day is